but now someone in the room is saying, "What did I get myself?"
Just now?
No, you already had your chance to escape.
And I came back. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's on.
All right, we're ready? Okay, thank you. So now call the meeting to order 4:30. Excused absence. I'm short. I don't have any excuse, but I'm short. Hannah and Kevin. All right. Let me know if they log on. See them. All right. So I don't need a motion. Land recognition. Aaron?
Oh, there's Kevin.
Okay. Hi, Kevin.
The Sault Ste. Marie Public Library is a gathering place where community comes together to share stories, to explore new ideas, and to gain knowledge of the past. It is through this unique position in our community that we support and promote truth and reconciliation with Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge with respect that we are in Robertson Huron Treaty Territory, that the land on which we are gathered is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and is known as Bawating. Bawating is the home of Garden River First Nations, Batchewana First Nations, and the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. The library and we as individuals have a deep desire to bring about change in our community and move forward together as diverse and inclusive peoples. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and are committed to moving forward in a spirit of reconciliation and respect.
Thanks. 1.3 OLA's commitment towards inclusive librarianship. Matthew, you can talk about this.
Yeah, sure. This is a general message that went out through the Ontario Library Association. And they've taken they've had a stance on anti-racism, but they've now got a new statement that they've released. Do you want me to read it? So the statement is here in your package. It talks about integrating reconciliation, approaching Indigenous with an Indigenous lens to hold space for all our relationships, and ensuring that the work is done with perspectives of marginalized, underrepresented communities, developing proactively implementing multi-year anti-racism strategy for the OLA, continue working collaboratively and learning with other organizations, prioritizing reconciliation and EDI, and then leveraging the OLA's position and power as a prominent library association to drive meaningful change across the sector, both provincially and nationally. If you want to read more about it, again, it's in your package, and there's a number of resources also listed there. We do a little bit of research on the various topics.
Thanks, Michael. Any questions? What do we do with this? And I don't mean that to be facetious. It sounds, but how does that change our practice, or how do we embody that?
Well, we've incorporated quite a bit of it prior in our strategic plan because the EDI, we say idea because we added accessibility to it. So we are already incorporating a lot of that truth and reconciliation, a lot of our action. So I think we're very much in line with their statement, but they're also coming at it as a library association, leveraging their position as a provincial organization that can affect change throughout the region.
Okay. Thank you. Good. Anybody else? We'll move on. 1.4.
Yes, I'm very happy to introduce our acting manager of public services, Caitlin.
Oh, hi. Hello, nice to meet you.
So Caitlin is in the acting role for somewhere between a year and 2 years. And we're gonna see how it fits with her. But we're really excited and really confident in having her on the team. She is coming up from a union position. So she was our senior reference technician. And do you want to speak a little bit more about yourself and how long you've been working here?
Sure. So I've been employed here for most of my life.
I actually started, I'll go way back. I started working at the Churchill Branch Library when I was 15 and I was a student page there. And then when I was in university, I actually studied English literature at Wilfrid Laurier. I actually came back to the library in my summers and worked as a summer experience grant student. And then after I graduated from Laurier, I decided to move back home and I started working as a part-time reference technician and at the reference desk here at Centennial. And I've been employed here since 2010. So that was the day that I became permanent. So I've worked just about every role. I've worked at all the locations in various roles. But most recently, for the last 6.5 years, I was the senior reference technician working directly under Sharon Wigney. So it's a role that I really enjoyed doing, and I worked very closely with Sharon. She was an excellent mentor and leader, and so she's given me a lot of confidence in my ability to, be a leader here. And I was really excited when Matthew gave me the opportunity to take on this position. I live in Echo Bay, and I have a son who is 11. His name is Sam. I've been married for 6 years to my husband Zachary. I have a dog. I love to camp. Yeah, so I'm really excited to take on the role. I feel like I have a really strong relationship with a lot of the staff here at the library. I feel like I'm a really strong communicator. I'm passionate about our library. And I'm looking forward to taking on this role and the tasks that lays ahead. So Matthew's, I know, has been a great leader for me personally, and looking forward to working with him now in the management role.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Welcome to the team,
Thank you.
the dream team, because now he has a complete team.
Yes.
And it's interesting, your background is similar to Sharon's, who seemed to have started here when she was able to walk.
Yeah.
And works all kinds of roles and give her a really broad base to
Yes.
work
Good.
Yeah.
supporting the library as it grows. And yeah, so you're bringing that same flavor and welcome aboard.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting to be here. Yes, like I said, I have my bachelor's degree in English literature, but I am a lifelong learner and I am open and willing to continue to educate. And I've recently taken a course in grant writing. It's a continuing education course through McMaster. So I'm actively pursuing professional development and learning how I can do the role as well as I can.
Thank you. Sorry, I have other thoughts.
Oh.
I know Jamie got excited when you said you could do grant writing. You don't have to.
I have taken the course and I'm excited to take on challenge.
The board may find uses for you too.
Oh,
You didn't warn her?
No, let her go into it blind.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna be
There, stay.
No, I'm not.
Great. Well, thank you.
It's nice to see your face. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to meet some of you. I know I've worked with Jamie before, but many of you are new to me. So
Yeah. I'm new to the board too.
all right.
Okay,
Great.
thanks.
Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, any declaration of conflict? There are none. Number 3, just easy. Number 3, I need approval for the agenda. I need a motion. All right, well, first of all, any additions to the agenda? Hearing none. Motion to approve the agenda as printed. Lisa, second. Aaron, any opposed? The agenda is approved. We have no delegations. Chair's report, just a verbal. It's been a pretty busy month. We wrapped up the CEO performance appraisal. Was at City Hall with a couple of other board members. Lisa and Jamie joined me as well, and it was a very well done. Matthew and his team, and where is she anyway? Catering. She's not joining us tonight.
She's working on cable.
Okay, that's more important.
That is important.
Anyway, they were able to answer questions from the city very professionally, and there was no BS going on. And I thought we were very well received, and it was just well done. And good to be there and support you on that. And then, as usual, the retirement committee meetings this month. We had those, and went to the retirement dinner for Sharon. It was a beautiful event and a nice way to send her off. So that was my.
You also,
What else? Did I miss something?
you were at staff development day.
Oh, I was gonna say that staff development day. I have
From the volunteer dinner.
in the phone. Okay,
We were all there for
yeah,
that.
volunteer. Okay, it's been a busy month. Then. All right, so. Anyway, yeah, it keeps rolling along and things keep happening. So we'll move on to number 6. I don't need a motion to do a verbal report. Number 6, the consent agenda. A reminder, if you were absent last meeting, you cannot move or vote on this because the minutes are in there. That would be Aaron and Paulo. So keep that in mind. Okay. So anything out of the consent
Could
agenda?
I ask a question?
You certainly can.
So the correspondence, there's an incoming email and there's not an outgoing reply.
You're correct.
So do we know,
You can pull it out of the consent.
like I can see that he's offering to come to speak to the board to
You're talking about
discuss this initiative further and I'm just
6.2.
curious how that got addressed. No, is it?
Yeah.
What
Six-
number is it?
6.2.1.
Yeah, you're right. That's
Yeah,
the one I'm at.
there's nothing in the
Just
package
curious.
for that.
Email correspondence?
I see it.
Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
back.
the email.
It's on the back of the minutes.
That's fine.
Page, or there's no picture.
You did find it? Okay, so
Oh, I'm
this,
sorry,
okay.
I should have-
This. So okay, now that I know what I'm talking about, Jamie, what do you want to do?
Well, I don't know how that was responded to and whether the board wants him to meet to discuss this initiative further, which is what he's offering.
Can you give a 30-second?
I mean, he's reached out before, but this is a business looking to basically run part of their business out of the North Branch. So there's a couple things there that we have to be careful of. We have to be careful of our lease agreement with the Oklahoma District School Board, and then our various policies. So the meeting room space rental policy as well. So there may be an opportunity if you guys are interested in partnering with them. I just hesitate to work with a business like.
You haven't, because this will affect some of our policies.
It's
So you haven't
The sales-
replied to
So,
this?
yeah.
no, I haven't.
No, okay.
So
So what do you want to do with this? Do you want to report back to the board at a future meeting, or
I can.
what do you have to do?
Well, I guess now that I hear the bigger picture, yeah, if he's setting this up semi-permanently at the branch, then
Or sub?
his equipment isn't available for him to operate outside of the branch, in another venue. So I had picked up on that. He wants to set a laser projector to be permanently installed in the venue space to shorten any setup time.
And then he wants to run ticketed events.
And then we're subleasing,
Oh,
and then we have a problem.
unless it's, yeah, I don't know, a library event where he's being paid an honorarium or something, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest we pull it and maybe bring a response to the board.
You want me to do a report on it?
Yeah, Yeah.
Well, it's
I
a
think-
good, it's an excellent example, actually, of how to apply our policies to this
Yep.
scenario. So,
Okay. So we have, don't respond until after the board hears from you. Okay.
Is it okay that I give, notice that it will be a deal breaker?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because I think the board needs to hear a little more on this, but the sublease is a huge problem.
I didn't pick up on that it was a ticketed event, that's my mistake.
We had something like this in, I think upstairs for a while. Somebody wanted to do some. Run a business or, anyway, leave it with you. So if you consider 6.2.1 is pulled. Anything else? Anybody on screen have anything they want out or question? Okay, then, I just want to point out 6.3.1 and 6.4.1, the policy committee report. Most of you were at the committee meeting, so you already know this. We've changed, because of things that have happened with minutes, we've changed the reporting format for the board. And so it'll be a little bit different going forward. And that allows for the minutes to go back to the committee before they come to the board. It kind of builds that space in there and keeps us up for. That's that. Sound about right? Okay. So, you might have noticed a slight change. Agreed? Nothing?
Yeah. The only thing I might add is I don't know if the minutes need to go back to the board or just do it.
That's a good point.
Oh, good point.
So
Yeah.
we just bring the reports to the board and then the minutes.
Okay. But the committee would still approve its own minutes.
The committee would do it.
That's great.
That would make it easier.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, since I'm the secretary of this committee, am I supposed to be writing this report? Or obviously you did it this time.
I do it based on the minutes, so
It's up to you.
I'm okay with continuing
Excellent.
to do the
Good
report.
answer, Matthew. As long as you're
So that
okay.
answers the question.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate having the minutes to
Yeah,
reference
yeah,
what.
yeah. I'll bet you do, especially when you fix them, yeah.
And it looks more professional, and it's clean. And so it doesn't raise any unwanted questions. We'll talk a little more about that later. 6.3.5, Matthew, the fee schedule. It wasn't finished for the committee, and there were a couple of things that went. So can you just give a high level? What changed? Yes, in fact.
Yeah, so with the fee schedule, some of the board mentioned that they like the idea of giving discounted prices if there's membership. So if you are coming to a signature event, you can get $5 off the ticket. If you're a library member versus not being a library member, and with the hopes of not necessarily generating more revenue, but driving more membership toward it. And so it was brought back, and our business administrator, Katrin, she went through and looked at a few things where we might be able to do that. And you'll notice that there's a couple blue lines now. Under programming and events, active card holders receive a $5 discount on library programs. And so what we've done is we've raised the fee for our adult book clubs, but once you apply the membership fee, it's back down to the regular price. And then with room rentals as well, increasing the prices, but you get a $5 discount. So those people are coming into the library to book a children's party. Hopefully we grab them for a membership when they're coming as well. We'll talk to them. Getting it because they'll get a discount.
And that's where the committee left it to make those adjustments. So I just want to make sure everyone always understood what was going on. Okay, that's it for me. Anyone else? Any questions on consent? We have about 2 seconds, and we will move to 6.5. Summary of motions. One have to come up then?
Yeah, I took 6.21 and 6.35. So you'll have to approve the fee schedule separately.
Which ones should it be?
6.21 is correspondence, so there's no motion.
Okay,
And so it's just a fee schedule that has to be
no,
from the motions.
no. Fee schedule doesn't need to be removed.
You talked about it, so.
No.
Okay. You
I'll have questions. I won't get into a long debate on anything, but, you know, I just want to clarify. No change.
Right.
Okay, so it's not coming. Unless Catherine was here, then I put her on the seat for a while.
Okay.
All my fun. Anyway, summary of motions with,
6.21 correspondence.
got it. I need a motion to approve. Steve? Jamie? Any opposed? Hearing none, motion's approved. There are no way, well, just the one item was removed consent and 2.1. Well, on the next agenda, hopefully. Any business arising from the minutes? Information items, Matthew.
So start off with a thank you from Noah. The letter is addressed to our manager of capabilities, but they wanted to thank us for our participation in the Brazilian Festival this year. It was quite the success, and the library helped host that program. And then we just wanted to make the board aware of the December open houses that are coming. Everybody's welcome to come. It's open to the public, and it's going to be music, a treat. So there's one at the Centennial Library and one at the North Branch.
Cool. Any questions? I gotta tell you, there's a lot of things going on in this building, and I like, as much as I think I know what's going on, I'm continually amazed how many events you have for the public. And you really have to pay attention as a board. Like, we miss the opportunity to sometimes to even witness them, but it's good that you bring it to our attention. So.
Well, let's do something funny for one of those, so that's always a lovely event.
Any other questions? Okay, then we'll move on to number 10. The board meeting calendar for 2025.
Yeah. So I've just presented this to you. In the past, I've come with a draft calendar, but there's quite a bit of dates not put into the calendar. And some decisions need to be made about when you want to meet, especially around committee meetings. I put some tentative dates on our past practices for the board regular meetings and some of the other things like board evaluations and stuff. But I know the finance committee's been kind of all over the place this last year, and I don't know if you guys are satisfied with the policy.
I thought we'd agreed, somebody can help me here, that finance would be on the Tuesday before the board meeting. Was I dreaming? Anybody remember that?
I don't know, because we just kept getting the poll.
You're the chair. Didn't we talked about it? And then I thought we did, I know, but I thought we settled on, a certain day, you know, we all have other commitments, complications. So I thought we'd agreed it would be on a Tuesday, and then we're still doing Survey Monkey. So.
I prefer consistency.
Yeah,
That's the problem, is we've been having a tough time getting everybody
Yeah.
on like a particular date. Seems like earlier in the week works better than later in the week in terms of getting people to turn out.
what works for you, you're the chair.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
I think part of the issue was with me. I was having an overlap on Tuesdays at 4:30, which I no longer have. So
Okay.
I am okay with Tuesdays at 4:30 if that's the decision.
That's awesome. That helps. Thanks, Kevin. So, Mr. Chair,
Tuesdays are probably the best day for me too, so I'm cool with keeping it then.
does that work? Okay. And it's just
Sorry,
like,
sorry.
like, like I said, it's complicated. We start moving schedules around. So if it's the same day, just like our board meetings are the Monday, third Monday of the month, you know it's coming, and you can kind of work your schedule. And some of
Is it
you,
easier if, like, cause policy's on Tuesday, then? Right, am I wrong?
All the committee meetings on
All-
Tuesday, and-
Everything's on Tuesday?
oh, okay, Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, I never noticed.
I know, yeah, policies.
Regular
Tuesday
meetings
before.
Mondays.
So Mondays and then committees are
Committees
Tuesdays,
Yeah.
is that easier?
Yeah, makes sense to me. It's policy. Most of
First Tuesday.
it. Yeah, you're
right?
chair.
So
Right, first Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Put the hammer down.
Firm man.
Hey, I use that as legit and put the real dates in, so it's the first Tuesday. I'm like,
So,
why are these dates on
Yeah,
there?
Yeah,
yeah, and then we're still gonna have people.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Conflicts.
November 5th.
It's gonna happen whatever, right?
Exactly.
Even, like,
So
So
let's
Matt,
go with, just Tuesday for policy and the following Tuesday for finance. What else have we got?
just, if I may, for the policy committee meeting in January, can we push that back a week?
That's good. Yes, of course.
Because of
Yeah, it's
the-
right after, New Year's Day, right?
January 2nd.
Yeah. Good choice.
Mhm.
I don't have a calendar. in
Oh,
front of me.
wait, no, it wouldn't. I looked at 2024. It'll be January
It'd
7th.
be January 7th.
Yeah, it's January 7th.
Okay, rather than
It's a week.
Yeah, you
And then
have
the
to
next
be there.
one is
Or like-
January 4th, which is just after.
Oh, you guys are the ones who have to edit policies on your holidays.
I'll be back to work.
We're good.
Yeah, that's
We're
true.
good.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
What else?
Also with this, this year we've done two evaluations. One was an individual board member evaluation, and one was a general board evaluation. Do you want to continue with those on the calendar?
I do.
Do you want to use the same tools, or do you want to change it up at all?
I'm not hearing any complaints. I think they're both valuable, and I appreciate the feedback on the second of the two. And self-reflection is good too.
Let's see, leave those there. And then, are you guys happy with your board developments, days so far? So, we haven't had a whole lot since the strategic plan. Last time we went over,
Fundraising,
fundraising,
that was good.
That was excellent, Nancy. Thank you for bringing John to the meeting. I'm actually related to his dad by marriage, so we caught up on that. Would it be possible for possibly one of these board development meetings to be looking at if we go with the accreditation process next year, that one of those meetings could be dedicated to that?
accreditation, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know we've had a presentation on it already, but that might be, if the audit is in process, one of those meetings could be part of that audit. Possibly.
So I'll leave those as is, and if the board is happy,
I think so.
and I'll just put, the dates in, as they
Right now
come
you
up.
got, board development April 28th, and the other one is October 27th.
So, and then if there's anything else you want for the calendar. You
You can drop CEO evaluation from December. Because it's, I hope to continue to get it done by November. Yeah, because there's no board meeting, so it doesn't work.
can also see
Yeah.
evaluation.
So the committee, CEO evaluation committee should probably be September, which is when you started it up this year. Was, I think. Okay,
So have we added any budget things in here? Like,
Um,
because we had a special meeting in August to approve something.
yeah, so the, operations budget is set in June. For the
Oh, is
summer.
it?
Yeah, the reason we had
Oh,
the,
there it is. I'm sorry, I missed it.
the reason we had an August special meeting was to approve collective.
Oh, okay, so that doesn't happen every year. So by June, we're preparing the potential supplemental request to the September council meeting?
Yeah, we try to have it done by June. Then
Okay.
If we can't get it done by June, we'll hold a special meeting. July or August.
Yeah, that's what happened
Problem.
last year.
It's the
That's
same,
okay.
continually changing their process. And we got pushed into the summer months.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they forget about us when we send deadlines.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Great.
Well, they'll send something out to department heads and I'm not a department head. Cause I'm a,
Yeah, you're just like, you're a whole different species.
So I don't know whether you wanted to add some Ontario Library Service dates in here because there's a virtual conference in October.
Yep.
And there might be a spring one as well, but which the date is escapes me right now, but I think they do a spring one.
But this is the full, maybe I'm not understanding. This is the full board calendar,
I know,
right?
and the board should be attending the OLS
All
virtual
of them?
conference. Absolutely, Wayne.
Okay, have to give me that book. I'm sorry, but
No
how,
point one person attending and not sharing that information.
so could that be the board development thing?
Well, it could be, yes, well, except that it doesn't happen, yeah. I mean, it's just an awareness thing that it's an opportunity to attend, like you've got OLA in here in January, so by the same token,
That's super
there are
conference,
two
right?
other conferences that
okay.
are also free. Well, OLA is not free, but the OLS ones are free.
I heard.
And the board assemblies come up also that are open to every trustee.
Okay. I'll do the dates and put my calendar.
I could look,
You don't have to do it right now.
I mean, no, not this minute because I don't very look. I could, if I find it, Matthew, I'll share it with you.
Or any other additions to the calendar? Comments or I'm moving on.
Okay.
You need a motion?
no, because I'm gonna bring you a new calendar back in January and you can approve it at that.
Okay. Perfect. Super conference. Nothing you want to talk?
Well, I think everybody around the table is pretty familiar that there's a super conference, each year, usually held end of January, beginning of February. The Saturday is when the board governance stuff is usually happening. I will be presenting at that day for talking about security issues in libraries because of our experiences here.
Okay.
So they've OLA have reached out to me and asked if I'd be willing to share some of our experiences, the CEOs and board members. So I'll be attending there.
That should be interesting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've got a few stories. So there is an opportunity. We often send a couple of board members to the conference. So right now registration is open and just looking for direction from the board. If they want to send anybody.
Okay, thanks. Who's interested in going?
What are the dates?
29th, no,
29th to the 1st,
end of January.
the Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I don't know.
Steve,
No can do.
Lisa?
Working for a living. No, thanks.
You don't have to go to all of it if you want to go to the boot camp. You could also take that.
It's like Sunday and Friday night.
Yeah.
States and Saturday.
Paulo, are you able to, or are we interested in going?
No, I'd be unable to go.
Okay, Mike?
No, I can't go.
Understood. Kevin? I'm sorry.
Hello?
I'm sorry, Kevin. Are you interested in super conference this year?
I mean, I probably could. Let me think about it. If no one else,
Okay.
if no one else is going, like I've been before,
I'm going, at this point, I'm going, because I have Volpol, as well at the same time. And, my schedule allows me to. Jamie, what about you?
I'm considering it. This is the first year in about 5 years that I'm actually willing to get on an airplane and go somewhere in person. Partly due to COVID, actually, it still freaks me out to be on an airplane, but anyway, I'll think about it.
Okay, well, Matthew's gonna need an answer. Kevin, you can let Matthew know. Yeah. Let Matthew
Yeah.
know.
if you're attending, and it's not necessary for me to go, then I likely won't. Um, if Jamie wants to go.
It would be nice if we could all attend at least once. It's one of the best conferences I've ever attended, in terms of the coverage of topics. It fits well with education. It's amazing.
Well, the exhibits are
The
amazing.
exhibits.
And just being in
yeah,
that whole
yeah,
vibe, it's huge. It's a huge,
no,
it's always a surprise to be with someone who's there for the first time because, they're just so overwhelmed by
the
the.
keynotes are incredible.
Oh, all plenary sessions, yeah. So it's the coverage is for airfare and one night in a hotel.
Well,
No,
no,
it's-
3 nights.
3 nights in a
Yeah.
hotel, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, for you, 2. Then you go someplace else. No, sorry, Jamie. No, it's
Oh,
3.
really?
Well, and that's why I need to know, because we don't have enough limited
3
funds here.
nights? Oh my God. I mean, if
There's
one
also
of
an
us
ER
goes,
Yeah.
does it take the place of a seat that a staff member would take?
Uh,
That has always been my
yes.
concern, that it's more important for your staff to be there.
So we are limited, the funding for the board and the staff is the same.
Okay,
So the more board members go, the fewer staff go.
so are we paying for Wayne to go? Are we? So that would be 2 people that are coming out of that budget. And in that case, that one less staff member would go.
Potentially.
Okay,
Possibly,
that's a
depends,
factor.
depends.
There's other things to take into consideration. If we can get the early bird pricing, there's some savings there.
Yeah.
Also, I'm presenting, so I have.
Oh,
discounts
yeah, that's
on
true.
my-
And if you're a first time attendee,
There may be
is that anybody who would qualify?
What about Caitlin?
two qualified.
She might be a first time.
No, it's for board members,
Oh,
for staff
board
too.
member.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I
thought it was-
haven't looked at all the pricing.
Yeah, no, first time, there's no.
This would be my first time as a trustee, although I've attended the virtual conferences.
It might help. All right, if you're interested, let Matthew know.
I know.
We'll figure out the costs. And maybe I can work on that too, Volpol.
I thought you were covered with vocal.
Well, I have a meeting with Volpol.
There you
Not
go.
the full 3 days, but we can split. Okay, so Kevin, let him know next couple of days. All right, we'll leave that there. Board training is the next piece of your packet.
This one is Jamie.
Yeah, this one came from me, so I,
9.3, and
the
then
next 3 pages,
Yep.
I think are mine. So
you're on.
I've been attending, like, you wouldn't believe the number of meetings that are going on. So I threw in the OLA conference, the OLA boot camp. Last year I registered virtually and the OLA boot camp was not included in the virtual package. So that was a bit of a misunderstanding on my part. So the OLS had a virtual conference on October 24th, and I think I might have sent you the slide deck, didn't I? By email, I think I sent it to all of you. That was really interesting, and that ends with a roundtable discussion that is even more interesting. So they had a couple of speakers. One of them was talking about cultural accessibility, and I've never heard that phrase before. So I was really, and to me, about 2/3 of it, I thought like she's speaking to the wrong audience, but towards the end, I was starting to wake up that there are policy implications here. Maybe this is a trustee topic. So I kind of threw that in there as we might want to look at the policies that we're writing factor into the cultural accessibility issue. And then they had a speaker from Toronto Public that talked about AI, and that was really interesting to me because, well, of course, Toronto has, you know, every ability so they're into staff training and programming and partnership. Like if the whole package is there, and it was a really interesting presentation for that. And then the OLS staff talked about staying on. You know, they reminded us that we're halfway through our term, and they talked about self-evaluation, which we're already doing, so we're way ahead of that game. Although I'm not sure that we're using our self-evaluation to compare from year to year. And I don't think we have action plans to improve what comes out of self-evaluation, so that might be something to think about. But they did go on at great length about legacy document. And apparently this is a good time to start working on it because we're midway through the term, which I was surprised to hear that because I think I worked on the last one 4 years ago with Francis Ryan. So we might actually maybe put that back on the policy committee or something and think about the legacy document, if this is the right time to do that. And apparently it can be used as a guide for recruitment and orientation for new members, and, you know, showing your strengths and weaknesses and work yet to be done and all that, and providing supporting documents. And when they started listing all those bullets, I thought, yeah, it is going to take us a year to pull this together if this is what we're going to do. And and the slide deck I sent you was the board assembly meeting. Oh, that was not the OLS virtual conference, but that's free on Learn HQ, and you can just go in there and find it. So the board assembly meeting was interesting. The one that honestly turned my hair gray is the cybersecurity one, and this was a session that none of you at the table have access to because you're not retired librarians yet, but ex-leaders did a webinar on cybersecurity, their fall meeting, and the speaker was from Toronto Public. And I was aware of the cybersecurity incident because I have a cousin in Toronto who I lived it through her vicariously for 2 years. But anyway, the cyber incident happened on like 4:30 on Saturday afternoon, and Toronto Public made the decision to open on Sunday. And they were manual. There was no website, no computers, no catalog, no nothing. It was totally manual. And somebody said, one of the questions at the end was, what would you do differently? And what he said was, I would never do manual circulation again. So what they did on Sunday, when people were showing up at the desk to sign up books, they were just manually writing down the barcode number and the barcode number of every book. And if you can't read the handwriting, or if somebody misses the number, you've lost that record of what that circulation was. So he said what he would have done differently was go out and buy 100, they have 100 wrenches, 100 laptops, 100 notepad, forget the word he used, and 100 scanners, and they would scan barcodes into an Excel file rather than have them handwritten. So that was interesting because I've done the handwritten stuff years ago at a university library when the system went down. The takeaway was not if, but when this could happen to anybody. And he said they have no idea who hacked into Toronto Public. He's not even sure the hackers know they hit Toronto Public. He said it was just a phishing. They just send out these phishing, and it just goes out there, and if they hook something, you're it, you know, and that was what happened. London had it, Hamilton, Calgary has it right now, apparently. Brantford, there's probably a dozen that I'm missing. He's heard from New York Public Library because they haven't been hacked yet, that they expect to be hacked. So he has become the go-to person on cybersecurity, which I thought was really interesting. They had policies in place to handle an incident of this type that were written during COVID, and they could apply them to this scenario of that the decision is that we're open and the decision is that we're manual, and you know, they could just go tick, 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 and Sunday they're open for business. So everybody thought that was amazing. Some of their expenses were covered by insurance. The city has a chief information security officer. And because they are linked with the city's IT infrastructure and finance and HR and all that, all the data that got hacked, it's payroll and all of it. And he was saying, because it's his SIN number and his payroll and his personal data, they have searched out in the dark web, and whatever data was hacked from John Public has not appeared anywhere yet. So, which he thought, because he's watching for that. So this guy was brilliant. He'll probably present at OLA. I thought he was wonderful. I love the whole thing. But there are some he talked about business continuity plans and communications and service recovery. And it just made you realize that there's another facet to the policies that we're writing in the business continuity plans that we need to make sure that we're covered for this. This was the best presentation I've been to in 5 years. This one, it was brilliant. So I really enjoyed it, and the guy was a really good speaker. And if you follow that link, the cybersecurity report, this is the report that the staff, this guy and his management colleagues wrote to the board. So this is the information the board were given, and it's really, I think, worth a read. It's really something. I was really struck by him saying not if, but when it could happen to anybody. But it doesn't matter what you have for firewalls or computers or anything else. It's and the only part of the system that's not back up and running is, I don't understand it. You could explain it. The printers, and the printers are networked, and there's this whole system of payment and charging, and I don't know. And that's not, they're working with the vendor and they're trying to get it figured out how to get it going.
Yeah.
And they had to upgrade. What they ended up doing was replacing, scary thought, every computer in the system. They decided early on, they thought that they could just individually clean every computer and put them back into service. And they did that for a short period of time. And then I thought, you know what, we're still not sure that computer is clean. And some of these machines were already due to be, a 5-year replacement, that kind of thing. So they just upgraded the computers. And their biggest expense was staff overtime. They had 15 tractor trailers full of borrowed books. So when the system was back online, they worked with Cersei, and the problem became they had 20,000 new users who registered during the breach. So they had to register manually 20,000 new users. Then they had to enter all the borrower records that had happened during the 4 months. And in this Excel spreadsheet that may or may not have accurate numbers in it. And then they had to return 15 tractor trailer loads of books that had come back to the library system. And so he showed photographs, and he showed photographs that they have a processing center where the return books go onto this conveyor belt, and they go through the system, and they go into all these bins for 100 branches, right? So there's this huge system. So it was just as huge. The workload was just, that was what their biggest expense. It was brilliant. I thought it was one of the best presentations I've ever heard, and it could happen to us tomorrow, and we know that.
Catholic School Board went down last year. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then apparently there are cybersecurity lawyers. And so that the city has, everybody has cybersecurity lawyers. I bet we don't, but so they made the decision not to pay the ransom. That was step number 2, we open manually. Step number 2, we're not paying. So the lawyers are involved, and they, it's weird.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
One of the things that I do is phishing tests. We know that most of cybersecurity incidents that happen because of users falling for email phishing. And so one of the things that I do is phishing tests. So you actually send a phishing request to your own staff. And and if they fall for them, then there's training that goes into it, right? And and it really reduces the the threat vector, because people are more aware of it when they get caught. And you can get it down pretty low. You can get people like looking at emails and, with more critical eyes rather than just clicking around. And it really can make a huge difference. So maybe bring that one to the new IT person.
We do that on the school board too. And nobody wants to be that person, right? Every email you get, you go,
Oh.
wait a minute, what is that? What is that? Because
Well, I
nobody
do
wants to
that
be
at
that
home.
person.
I mean, I do that with my own email.
Can I just put out just a caution, because this is being recorded and posted online, is that if we're gonna talk about the library's cybersecurity, we can do it closed.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fair.
that's a good
I don't
point,
think,
Nancy.
I don't wanna help.
Yeah, no, but anyway, I just thought from a policy point of view and a business continuity thing, I think there are things that we can write into our documents from a board governance perspective. That was my. But it is chilling. And I do, like, I suffered through the cyber thing through my cousin, because anyway, I became her source and stuff, but oh god. But yeah, no, it was traumatic for the users, I can tell you. And the loss of programming and all of it was brutal.
Wayne, just from the chat here, both Mike and I have some time limit. So just so you know, he's leaving at 5:30 and I've got a 6 o'clock obligation tonight. So.
All right, thank you.
I'm done.
All right, thanks, Jamie. Thanks for a couple questions myself. I know this was open to the whole board. It was a virtual conference.
This was not. This one, the cyber one, was the next Libris. You have to be a retired librarian.
Oh, so we didn't have access?
No, you didn't.
Okay.
That's
I thought you
why.
said at the beginning of your report that you were the only one that said, no, we're talking about, I'm mixing things up.
You are.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else that I went to, anybody could go to.
So this was OLS.
This was not, the cybersecurity one was not OLS, it was Ex Libris,
Actually,
which is the Retired Librarians Association.
got it. Okay. Any questions for Jamie? Hearing that, we'll move on to, there's one motion coming out of that. What is there? Good. Number 11, new policies.
So there's 3 new policies. The first is programming policy.
Okay. Just keeping in mind, a couple people need to leave. I'm gonna expedite a little bit.
Go for it.
These were brought to the policy committee, but our policy is that all new policies come to the board, the full board, so that they're aware of them. So do a snapshot for each one and then we'll move on.
Okay. The reason we did a programming policy is it is a requirement for the accreditation process, and it just highlights a number of our current practices. We did look at a previous policy committee meeting, and it was deferred just because we wanted to add in more information about accessibility and communicating and programming and how to do that. We have a set of guiding principles regarding our programming and mention about sponsorship and feedback. And of particular interest was also the protest section. So that gives us a little bit of guidance in case there's a protest for a library program, which we did experience with the DRAG programs in the past, but we may experience with other programs in the future. The employee recognition policy, it is tied to one of our strategic plan items, and this is a policy that we put in place to recognize the service of our various staff. At the back, you'll find a milestone chart, and we're recognizing staff at 5-year increments. And we'll be doing most of the recognition at our staff development day. So even though this hasn't been approved yet, we have begun recognizing the staff. And so a number of staff received certificates for appreciation for their years of service at the last staff development day. Also, a nice thing to note is after a certain amount of time, staff will be able to choose a book of their choice to add to the collection. So they'll be doing their own little bit of collection development. And then we also plan on having plaques posted either in the boardroom or a staff room or somewhere in the public, recognizing staff's years of service when they reach milestones like 25 years, 30, and beyond there. And then moving on to the last policy, I have a policy here on using artificial intelligence. I suspect that there'll be a requirement eventually for this, but we're a little bit ahead of the curve on that. So two main issues with it is the ethical use of AI. So we do recognize that staff are beginning to use AI more in their day-to-day. It makes some tasks quite a bit more efficient. And so we want to make sure that we are following copyright laws with respect to intellectual property rights of authors and creators. We also want to make sure that any content that is being used by staff and produced is reviewed and edited and attributed appropriately and meets the library standards for originality and quality. And staff members are responsible for the accuracy and integrity of the information they present. So we also were looking at privacy and data use. Again, with cyber crimes and stuff, we want to make sure that we're not putting any potentially confidential information into any AI systems. And so there is a privacy and data use section here to prevent us from discouraging us from doing that. And any data that we collect ourselves through AI systems, so say we put a chat bot on our website, we're going to make sure that all the data, if we can, is anonymous, so that people's privacy is protected. So it's not just the information that we're putting in, but maybe information that people are putting into our own systems. And that's generally what those policies are about.
Thank you. So the policy committee's done a deep dive, so we've taken a thorough look at these and help Matthew and getting them in this condition. So any questions on the three policies? Hearing none. Need a motion to approve. We'll do them as one. All right, motion to approve the three new policies, 321, 412, and 450. Anyone want to move? Thanks, Aaron. Second, Jamie. Any opposed to the motion? Hearing none. Motion, they're approved. Number 12. Second.
That's okay.
You're right pretty fast. Pretty fast, sorry. Strategic plan update in your package.
Just generally, we're making progress. You'll notice a few arrows going down. Last report, we had 3 green arrows there at the top. It's just the in progress has gone down because some of them have been completed or are ongoing. So, yeah, overall, the absolutely complete 7.5%, but we've made progress on at least 40% of the strategic plan, which is we're coming up on a year. It started in December, so I think we would put that as a success. That 40% of the plan has been actioned on, and I would kind of expect in a 5-year plan, 20 to 25, maybe 30. So this just shows us staff have been working, or staff and board, because a lot of there's policies and stuff here. And there's still 163 not started, so there's still quite a bit of work to be done, but we've got 4 more years to do it, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting when they did the budget presentation, one of the counselors asked Matthew when he expected to be done with strategic plan. I didn't know how to respond. I'm surprised you did, because you handled that question very well. But so they are paying attention. Bottom line, they look at what we're doing.
I think it's really great to constantly see it in front of us,
Yeah.
like what the progress and the items and for the staff as well. It really shows the work being done, and it motivates the staff, right, to continue to perform and achieve those goals.
Thanks. Any other comments, questions? Motion,
No,
just,
it's just
it's
information.
just report. Alright. Holiday hours adjustment number 13.
Well, I'm glad my evaluation's done, all right, because now I have to admit to a mistake. So there was a clerical mistake, coming out of COVID. We had, really odd hours in COVID, and then when we came out, we were setting hours for the coming year and closures, and, I mistakenly said 12:30 when it was supposed to be 12 o'clock based on past practice for a closure for Christmas Eve. And so we would just have to rectify that. And I repeated the error because I copied and pasted. 2024 to 2025.
Let's see
It's-
that.
Yeah, and not that it's a huge deal, but we thought it should come back to the board to be approved. So
That's right.
a motion be resolved, the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library Board approves the modified operational hours for library locations to close at 12 p.m. on December 24th, 24 and 25. Mover, Steve, Aaron, any opposed? Motion passed. 14, asset management.
This is a report from Katrin. Some of the board had asked to have some more information on the city's facility asset management plan. And so she has gathered some information here that is relevant to the library. While it's a requirement for the city to do the plan, they don't actually have to follow all of the recommendations outlined in the plan. It is a strategic document, so if the plan says you should be investing this much money into the library's building, say you should invest $200,000 a year, city doesn't actually have to invest 200,000.
Yeah.
So I did put a couple clips here from it so you could see. So the total replacement value of the library is about $12.5 million just for the library itself, for the building. So that wouldn't include the collections and other things like that.
It seems awfully low price for the
It
building.
does.
Yeah, you should have saw the value before, because they were going off a value from the 80s.
Oh,
I would think 20 million easily replaces
just had the clouding done and everything.
the No, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
The city's currently reinvesting in the Centennial Library at a rate of 0.69% a year. The plan recommends that 115,000 be reinvested annually for a 20-year total reinvestment. So our reinvestment from city is short of that. They do provide us $80,000 in their capital expansion reserve fund. And so there's a deficit there between what is recommended and what we actually.
What was the mayor's comment about
Yeah,
that?
he said, he brought that up, didn't he, that you're spending more on,
Or not, no,
because of the age of this building, you're spending more on maintenance than you are on, than it would cost to have a new building or something.
No, not quite that, but they recognize that our operating expenses, like a lot of the general operating expenses, haven't gone up
facility.
that much because we've had to eat up a lot of our funding with the maintenance.
hearing him say that it was positive because they recognize that they have to invest in this building, keep it operational. So
Yes.
it's good that it's on his mind.
Well, one of the counselors asked Tom Bear a question about whose responsibility is it to do X, and Tom Bear said it's ours.
Yeah.
It's the city's.
It's the city's responsibility. So if something were to fail in the building and say we no longer have heating,
Right.
it's the city's responsibility to make sure that that's repaired so that the building is operational again. So
Exactly.
they would have to dip into their emergency funds in order to make the emergency repairs necessary. They do invest in the building, like I said, through the capital expansion reserve
Yeah,
and partially through our maintenance portion of our operations, which is about $60,000. And they delegate some of that responsibility down to me. But when we get to larger projects like exterior cladding and asbestos, I work with city purchasing in some of the city departments to those larger projects.
so could, maybe for the next facility planning meeting, could you sort of put on the radar, what are the 5 next things that you think are coming up as facility needs?
Don't we have the asset?
We have the asset management documents, which shows what's in poor condition and good
Yeah.
condition and stuff. So top of my priority list is the pneumatic system. I
Right,
have
I've
to
heard of
replace
that,
that.
right,
We are afraid that some of the air pumps are gonna go,
right.
and we wanna replace them with digital controls rather than pneumatic controls. And then we'll be looking at windows.
So if you wanted to look at, I can remember a discussion about 7 years ago at this table about accessibility at the circulation desk. Is there a plan to redesign that area so that someone in a wheelchair could,
Well, there is the sit-down station.
there
At
is?
the circulation desk, so it could be improved, certainly. We haven't had much talk about renovating the service desk though, because
For accessibility?
it's important, but keeping the heat on is.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. But I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
nice to plan the facilities in a proactive way where you're not reacting to something that failed or flooded or fell off the outside of the building, to actually have a plan to replace something that is outdated.
Yeah, it is on the plan. So what I've done is I've taken the asset management plan and then I've added on the document additional items that are not
Okay.
covered by city, that would be our responsibility. And so service desk would be the board's responsibility, not city's.
Okay. So for someone who's not, this is from a personal issue that happened with my husband, but if you walk up to that circulation desk and you're not in a wheelchair, there's no desk, there's no chair to sit at
No, it's
to
not.
receive service.
No, and that's in our strategic plan. One of the action items is.
Oh, is it?
to put
Oh, okay.
seating there. We just haven't reached that.
No. It wouldn't be that hard to
We
add
did a chair.
a chair.
It's probably
Anyway,
like-
okay, okay, good, but yeah. But I mean, up until now, the stuff that we're dealing with seems to be reacting to an issue rather than,
Well,
No, I would disagree with you on
Oh,
that because
okay.
we do have the asset management document. And we did set priorities a while back.
well,
Maybe
the
it's time to take it.
asbestos is reacting to asbestos and the
Yeah,
exterior
but they,
cladding.
and
No, the
that's
exterior
what I mean,
cladding-
they were identified as high level, need to be done as possible. And there were, and I think, there were a couple others.
well, I would say we did react to the asbestos, but the exterior cladding was proactive because we wanted to replace that before we started doing water ingress. to the
Okay,
building.
oh, good.
So that was a proactive.
And then the whole mess with the admin area and the floor and everything.
That was reactive.
That was
Yeah,
reactive
flood.
too, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
But proactive is installing the new pumps
good,
to prevent that from happening.
yeah, perfect, I'm glad to hear it.
So maybe if we bring it to the point, maybe it's time to review that document again. Or for priorities.
Yeah, I mean, I can bring it to the finance committee and you guys can look at it again.
Yes.
Is it online anywhere or not?
So,
Anyway, yeah, never mind, bring it to.
used to, when we had a facility committee, yeah, it was on their
Oh, yeah,
packages.
yeah, you're right, and I haven't been on that, that's the one committee I wasn't on, yeah, okay, that's why, that's why I'm hearing this for the first time. Okay.
anything else? All right, move on. Operational hours report, Matthew and I have spoken about this. It's a response to the board's request, preparation report to address the auctions or optimize library hours and services. And I'm gonna cut to the chase. Basically, they're asking for more time to complete a thorough report. They wanted to wait till the budget was out of the way. They had other things on the plate. So I think that's where it is.
Yeah, well, what we wanna do is take the entire 2024 and look at it. I did look at Google Analytics, and it's kind of odd that our peak periods, usually it's in the afternoon. It's probably between 1 and 4. Those are our peak periods of use for the people coming into the building. But there's variances in the days, so we'll see heavy use on a Tuesday morning and a light use on a Wednesday morning. For whatever reason. So we think there are some influencing factors such as programming and other things that are going on.
It's weather dependent.
That's another
I
thing. is we're
would,
looking at
right?
whether-
Yeah, yeah.
Like, as a mom with little kids, or people just needing to be inside, I would say it's weather dependent.
There may be some areas where we can cut some hours, but I'm hesitant to do that until the budget's approved, because maybe we'll have to relook at service app. Anyway, the board doesn't give us the request that they asked for. And so we might have to make adjustments because of that. I'd rather make the adjustments because we want to use the hours elsewhere, but we want to hedge our bets.
And part of it was to look forward to, if we identify a need for more hours, either location, maybe that's part of our ask for next year to support that, you know, so that like it's a bigger picture.
One of the things I was going to recommend was closing early on Fridays, closing 5 on Fridays. But when I actually looked at the analytics, it was high use. So I mean, that I thought that would be an easy hour to cut, and it wasn't.
That was my takeaway, was that this becomes a supplemental request for next year. And one of the reasons that I like that idea came to me was, apart from Wayne saying it first, but Toronto Public just did a thing where with Olivia Chow and the big media splash about they have new money to have branches open all year round. And I'm
They have
thinking,
new money.
yeah, that's what we need is new money, right? So we can, yeah, I think that's where we're headed, is asking for new money
So
in order to do this for literacy reasons and for community hub reasons and all of that.
So can I defer this until May? Is that
I would like that right now.
that's what you're looking for? Okay. Get a motion? Or just, what do you want to do?
Well, yeah, probably should have a motion. Just because there
Motion
was a
to
motion.
accept and defer until 2025 board meeting. All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mover. Lisa, second. Aaron, any opposed? Okay, this for item will return. It's a good one.
And the last time we reevaluated our hours was in 2000. It's been a little while.
Fair enough. Number 16, resolve that the members of the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library Board move into closed session pursuant to Public Libraries Act, section 16.4, closed meetings, as the subject matter being considered is personal matters about an identified individual. Further, be it resolved that should the said closed session be adjourned, the board may reconvene in closed session to continue to discuss the same matter without the need for further authorizing resolution. Be it further resolved that the following individuals be permitted to attend: Donald Burdo, Mover, Steve, Aaron. Any opposed?